A father's fight taking him from his small farm in Tennessee to the halls of Capitol Hill. Steve Eimer's 17-year-old daughter, Hannah, died in a horrific crash, and now he's making it his mission to prevent another tragedy.
I'm fighting that so that no other family has to be here. This should not have happened. This should not have happened.
Hannah died when she hit a guardrail and it pierced her vehicle, and she's not the only one.
No, a News 4 consumer investigation found thousands of these controversial guardrails are on the roads we drive every day. Consumer reporter Susan Hogan is working for you with what you need to know about this.
Well, this story may sound familiar to you. A couple of years ago, we told you about a problem with guardrails sparing vehicles instead of deflecting them. Tonight, a different company and product are coming under fire for the same problem. The last time Steve Eimer saw his daughter Hannah, she was heading to a Halloween party.
I think I told her to have a good time and I loved her.
Working with costumes was Hannah's passion. She was in her second year of college and had even worked on a movie set near her home in Tennessee.
Hannah was our oldest child. She was one of 10. She's extraordinarily talented. Graduated at 15.
But tragedy struck as Hannah drove home from a Halloween party last year.
A guardrail pierced her car and she was killed instantly.
Steve Eimers is now suing the manufacturer of that guardrail and terminal. It's the third lawsuit claiming the Lindsay X-Lite guardrail pierced vehicles during crashes in Tennessee, killing people inside.
This has got to stop. This has to stop.
The Tennessee Department of Transportation is so concerned it's spending millions of dollars to remove X-Lights from its roads. News 4 has learned these controversial guardrails are all over Virginia and Maryland. Sarah Weinberg from Alexandria died last December after she hit an X-Light on I-66 in Fauquier County. This is what's left of her car.
The first section came up over the hood of the vehicle. So the second section came through the front of the car, through the grill work, just to the left of the engine, and then blew open the driver's door, and then the car continued down the rail as if it was threading a needle.
Just 3 months earlier, Virginia had pulled the X-Lights from its approved products list due to concerns with crash test results. While that means no new X-Lights will be installed, Virginia estimates there are still about 1,000 of the guardrails currently in place. Maryland tells us it has 990, and West Virginia, 938. D.C. does not use X-Lights.
If I see the anchor
From 2 to 3, then you
from 2 to 3, I know it's an X-Light.
Eimer says this issue has consumed his life since his daughter died a year ago. Much of his time these days is spent researching accidents and meeting with transportation officials. On this day, he was knocking on doors on Capitol Hill, hoping to get the attention of lawmakers. His ultimate goal, to have all 14,000 X-Lights removed from the nation's roads.
I want a national recall. I want the letter of approval rescinded, and I want a national recall of the X-Light.
Now, in a statement to News 4, Lindsay Transportation Solutions says X-Light has successfully passed crash and safety tests in accordance with federal standards and criteria and remains eligible for federal transportation funding. A variety of factors contribute to the potential for injury when a driver fails to stay on the road, including speed, the angle at which a vehicle makes impact, and whether road safety equipment is installed and maintained properly. Now, tonight at 11, our News 4 consumer investigation continues. You will hear from Maryland transportation officials about their decision to leave the controversial guardrails on their approved products list. Steve Eimers is a father on a mission.
I'm fighting that so that no other family has to be here.
It's been 1 year since his 17-year-old daughter Hannah died. Her car was pierced by a guardrail after she ran off the road.
A guardrail at highway speeds, what it will do is horrific.
Eimers is now working tirelessly to get guardrails he calls dangerous off every road in the country.
I can tell you that state DOTs have raised significant concerns about how this product functions.
Hannah is one of 4 people killed in Tennessee after hitting the ends of guardrails. According to lawsuits in those cases, each time the vehicle was speared by a Lindsay X-Lite end terminal. It's happened in Virginia, too. Sarah Weinberg of Alexandria died last December on I-66 in Fauquier County.
This system, the X-Lite, it's a telescoping system. It pushes down section upon section, and as it's doing that, it's absorbing energy and slowing the vehicle down, bleeding off energy so that it slows. So it's a control stop. You have a crash, but you don't have a fatality.
And that didn't do that here.
No.
And take a look at these photos from Saline County, Missouri. They show a truck that was literally skewered by an X-Lite this past February. The state tells us it was an X-Lite. The driver killed. In a statement to News 4, Lindsay Transportation Solutions says X-Lite has successfully passed crash and safety tests in accordance with federal standards and criteria and remains eligible for federal transportation funding. There is no road safety equipment that can prevent injury every time a driver fails to stay on the road. But X-Lite has reduced the number and severity of injuries sustained in automobile accidents. While the X-Lite remains on the Federal Highway Administration's list of approved products, at least 11 states, including Virginia, have decided to stop using it. The Virginia Department of Transportation issued this memo last year, citing concerns over how the X-Lite performed in crash tests. Maryland says after reviewing all guardrail crashes on its roads over the past year, it does not plan to pull the X-Lite.
Right now, we have no indication that this has been involved in any unusual or injurious situation on Maryland roads.
But it has been involved in other fatalities. You are aware of that in other states.
Yes.
Isn't that concerning enough?
I would tell you that the Maryland Department of Transportation and all of us at the State Highway Administration are always concerned about people's safety. So any insinuation or any possibility of us sitting on our hands and allowing safety to come second is just not true.
In the meantime, Steve Eimers is calling on the National Highway Administration to not only pull the X-Lite from its approved products list, but to make sure every single one is removed from roads across the country.
I know how this will end. It will end with a national recall. The only thing I don't know is when that will happen.
Now, starting next summer, all guardrail and terminals will have to meet new crash test standards to receive federal approval. The Lindsay X-Lite guardrail and terminals don't qualify, so there won't be any new ones installed after June. However, remember, there are thousands that remain on our roads right now, and those will stay in place.
Only on News 4, a consumer investigation getting some results this afternoon.
Last month, we told you about controversial guardrails lining our roads. Today, Maryland announced it's not going to install any more of these.
Consumer reporter Susan Hogan is working for you, and she's here now with an update.
Well, that's right. Now, the problem here is with the end piece of this guardrail, and there are a lot of different types out there, but several lawsuits claim that this one that you see right here, it's called the Lindsay X-Lite, is defective and sometimes leading to tragic results. At least 6 people have been killed after crashing into X-Lites nationwide. In those accidents, the end guardrail and terminal speared the vehicles instead of deflecting them. As we told you last month, about a dozen states, including Virginia, have decided to stop using the X-Lite. At the time, Maryland told us it had no plans to pull the guardrail. But that all changed today. Transportation officials tell us starting immediately, they will only use guardrails that meet new, stricter crash test standards. The X-Lite does not qualify.
So with the availability of other products and with the removal of the X-Lite from the approved list, we made the proactive decision to stop new installation and go with the new products.
Now, starting next summer, all states will have to switch to products that meet these new standards in order to use federal money to buy guardrails. But there are still roughly 2,000 of these X-Lite and terminals already installed in Virginia and in Maryland that will remain in place for now. In a statement to News 4, the maker of the X-Lite says, in part, there is no road safety equipment that can prevent injury every time a driver fails to stay on the road. But X-Lite has reduced the number and severity of injuries sustained in automobile accidents. Now, if you would like to watch our entire consumer investigation, just go to the NBC Washington app and search guardrails.